my activism and my journalism took me, in 2015, I started my activism in 2009, yeah? So I'll give a brief history to my work.
Yeah, do that.
I was born in Luton in 1982. Luton's a town that's 30 miles north of London. When I was born in 1982, there was one mosque. There's now 45 mosques. It's 200,000 population.
And how many mosques?
45.
Okay.
45. Luton was named by the CIA as the epicenter for terrorist activities across Europe. The fertilizer bomb plot was planned in Luton. The 7/7 attacks, they got their bombs in Luton. The Stockholm bomber was radicalized in Luton. Terrorist attack after terrorist attack has orchestrated and come from Luton. Now, growing up in Luton, as I said, when I was born, I've seen all of this, yeah? Al-Mujahideen, you know, Omar Bakri, Abu Hamza, their head office, they used to have an organisation called Al-Mujahideen, who were not they're now a prescribed terrorist organisation, but they never were. Their head office was in Biscuit Mill in my hometown. So growing up, I had a very life lesson of the influence of Islamist ideology and what it can do to freedom, yeah? Also, the grooming gangs, which is something we'll get onto. So my cousin was a victim.
When did this come out?
4 weeks ago.
Props to Jordan Peterson for doing this. He has a huge Muslim audience, and they're going to hate him for this. So props for Jordan Peterson for standing 10 toes down and having this conversation.
She was hooked on heroin, and she woke up being raped by gangs of bearded men in the Muslim community. She ran naked through the streets. Now, what the police done at the time is nothing, yeah? So I grew up watching...
How old were you when that happened?
I would have been 13. So she was 14. So as all this is happening, and just so people get, Luton is one of the most diverse towns in Great Britain, one of the most diverse towns in Europe, yeah? So white English are a minority, okay? Most of the people I love are not white because I've been brought up in this community, yeah? So as I've been brought up, in our school playground, when I went to school, you had the Muslim playground and the non-Muslim playground.
That's crazy.
Like, so I had very quick learning.
You know, I don't know this guy's theological background, but the fact that people can't see the direct line between the new atheist and the Richard Dawkins type, and then this turning the UK upside down. To me, the answer is not rioting. To me, the answer is love Jesus and go start a family, and get into your local church and be devoted to your faith.
That's why I feel like I got to have 3 kids, you know? 2, you just replace yourself, and the 3rd, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, so
got to keep up with the Muslims.
At the least.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the girl, to be fair, it sounds like the girl who was stabbed was one of the 3 girls, I guess, was one of multiple things that led up to this. It sounds like there was other tensions that were raising up. And so this one, even though it was misinformation, still contributed to it. Meaning, like it's like the Olympics thing. Like the Olympics thing isn't trans fighters. The Olympics thing is people, an ideology that would allow something like this happening, and then the trans fighters, people were primed to believe it.
Yeah.
Right? Because in order for something to spread, you have to believe that it's reasonable for it to be true.
There's levels to it, yeah.
Right? The issue, though, is that when the thing that sparks off the riot is a lie, you got cake on your face. Like you're an idiot now, in my opinion, right? So that's the issue. So it's like, yes, the Leah Thomas situation is awful and terrible, but that's not what the Olympics was in terms of the fighters, right? Yes, apparently this has been an ongoing issue in the UK forever. Fair enough. It's an issue. It's probably going to be an issue here if America doesn't get a hold of it. And so now when something sparks off, you're still an idiot for spreading false information. They got a trans fighter in there. No, they don't. That's not what that is. But what I do know is the solution to this is to be more religious, not be angry at the other religion. The issue is the solution is to be more faithful, not less faithful to the God you claim to serve by rioting and burning down mosques. That's the issue.
They segregate themselves. The Muslims did not integrate or assimilate. So when you go into the school dinner table, just so people can picture it, you'll have whites sitting with blacks, sitting with Indians, sitting with Sikhs, sitting with Hindus, all sitting together. And in the corner, there'll be 10 tables of Muslims, yeah? Now, I never understood it as a child, okay? It was from when I went to high school, I just knew the Pakistanis are very different, yeah? They're quite hostile. If you mess with one, you've declared war with the whole tribe, yeah? There's not a fair fight. There's never a one-on-one fight. It's all gang-related. And so I just grew up learning it. But that's not to say, because some of the best people I met in my hometown were Muslim lads, yeah? Some of the people I loved were Muslim lads. But per se, there was a real problem here. And I grew up watching it, learning it. And Al-Mujahideen, my first activism was in 2004. What was I then, 20? 2004, I organised a protest. And this group Well, do you remember the Beslan school massacre? No, so Beslan school massacre was Chechen terrorists had took control of a school. And this is coming again, yeah? This is going to happen to a Jewish school, I guarantee you. They took control of a school, and I was probably 2019 or something.
That was where?
This was in Chechnya in Russia.
Yeah, okay, I remember the story.
And what happened was, the parents were all outside the school, and all the Muslim jihadists are inside the school with their pupils, with their children. And then they start butchering them and killing them.
So this is the part where, like, is this ideology congruent with the West? And that's on the West to decide and have this conversation. And so here, the undergirding, go to 1 hour, 53 seconds. The undergirding of what's pinning this is you have an ideology that's incongruent with the values of the West. That's what he's getting at. My question then goes, well, don't you have to preemptively mitigate this?
It also seems like the closer you get to the origin of this faith practice is the closest you get to the most accurate representation of that faith practice. So like over in the United States, you know, we kind of got the progressive Muslims that, like, you know, that those are extremists and they don't actually love Allah. You know, but then in reality, it's like, okay, well, that's not how it's practiced in the majority of the world. Like you California public school Muslims are not the same as.
You're getting to an issue of syncretism where when you think opposing worldviews can be complementary and they can't.
Yes.
You can maybe try to do this with Jewish people, but even Christians in Israel don't get treated very nice.
Oh yeah.
You know, so there are certain things that that are just incompatible, and unfortunately the folks in the UK are learning this the hard way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Someone said they try to apply Sharia law in the UK, so why would we allow that? Don't allow that. I'm not saying you should allow that. I'm not saying at all. That's not my argument. My argument is, why are you burning down mosques? That's my argument.
How did you even get to the point where
how did you get to the point?
Sharia law?
How did you get to that point?
Hello. This is a national issue. So we went to Birmingham and we formed the English Defence League, and that's where the name English Defence League come from. Now, when we went to Birmingham, we went as a group of 50 men from Luton. We got violently battered, okay? The news, and this is where my first awakening to the media come. So there's a picture. This boy wasn't with us. There's a young English boy at a bus stop with a green top on, and gangs of Muslims just come from everywhere, and they battered everyone, yeah? And there's a picture in the national newspaper, and they're jumping on this boy's head. And underneath the picture, it says, a fascist is attacked by anti-fascists. And I remember looking at it. Going,
that's a big. That's a big.
So bad.
The media has been lost their mind on this stuff.
Yeah.
The media has been lost their mind on this sort of stuff. You know, that's crazy.
Remember, I had an awakening to everything. Because I went from working on a building site, to 6 months later leading the biggest protest movement Europe's seen. And when we went to Birmingham as a group of 50, we had English Defence League tops on, and it said Luton Division, the name of our town. And these images went everywhere of English men getting chased and beaten, yeah? So this was Birmingham, and our first banners said, victims of jihad in Nigeria, we stand with you. Because obviously I was down the rabbit hole. So I was seeing that on Christmas Day, five Christian churches were blown to pieces, didn't make the BBC News, yeah? I was following all these stories around the world.
He's right about that.
Christians facing persecution at the hands of jihad, no one caring. Yeah?
Right.
So we went to Birmingham. We thought, let's highlight a lot of issues here. Yeah, let's make this a point. And we had banners, we had placards, but we got violently. The police had to lock us in a building for 2 hours because they couldn't control the streets. Then they got buses and put us on the buses and to get us out of there. And all the windows were coming in. There was riots going on. So from this, we then went back to Luton, and then we saw a Christian church in Manchester that had been taken over by Muslims, which there's been another video go viral just weeks ago, similar situation. It was in the area of Longsight, and they were bulldozing over Christian graves and headstones. So I was watching it going...
I understand that we're in a climate where misinformation is believable and then causes people to act radically. I get that. I was just in London. I was actually just in London because Jordan Peterson had me out at his art conference. I was just there a couple months ago. I was there post October 7th and saw the Muslim response. I get it. I think what you're missing, again, for the umpteenth time, is you don't riot as a means to move the needle. You peacefully protest.
You don't get it, Ruslan. Nah, man.
You sound like a leftist. right?
Yeah.
You sound like a leftist.
100%. Yeah, it sounds like straight up riots in Minnesota vibes.
You sound like the folks that were cool with the Black Lives Matter riots.
Yeah.
You sound incoherent.
They snapped, man. How long can they just keep operating at a deficit and then you expect them to be friendly?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, chill.
Part of Trump's team contact the government to say, make sure he's safe. Yeah? What is going on in the UK? Geert Wilders flew to Britain. Lots of politicians flew to Britain. And it was all blowing up. And I'm in jail, so I don't really know what's going on. I'm in prison. And then after 2 weeks, they come and move me. And I said, where am I going? And they took me to HMP Onley, which has the largest Muslim population of any jail in Great Britain. Yeah? So as I get there, why would you do this? How does this make sense to do this? And then when I got there, they said, well, so you're going to have to self-isolate yourself. So I'm not self-isolating myself. Yeah? Why have you brought me here? I was fine. What's the reason for bringing me here? And then I said, I'm not self-isolating myself. Yeah? If you put me on that prison wing, I'm going to come straight out of that prison door. And then I'm going to be in a position where I have to defend myself. But I am willing to defend myself, yeah? I've done nothing wrong to What they want you to do when you get to prison is if you ask for protection, you're put with paedophiles. So I've done nothing wrong to warrant myself being in this position.
Yes, well, it'd be very convenient for those who aren't very happy with you to be classified with the pedophiles.
Classified with paedophiles or killed.
Right. Those are good alternatives. Yeah.
So 6 Muslims were sentenced to 30 years for planning to kill me. They got caught with guns and bombs, yeah? I get put into Woodhill prison. I'll go back to Onley, but I get put into Woodhill prison. I'm in the prison system. I go onto the first night centre. My door opens. It's an ex-paratrooper, British armed military, who's now a prison officer. He said, when they come to get you, do not leave this cell. He said, I'm telling you, your life depends on it. I said,
when who comes?
When they come to get you, that's all he said. When they come to get you, I said, what do you mean? He said, when they come to get you, don't leave this cell, Tommy. Your life depends on it, son. Do not come out of this cell. So I said, all right. 2 hours later, my door opens, prison officers, he's with them. He said, right, you're going on to A-Wing. And I said, I'm not going anywhere, mate. And then I said, I'm not leaving this cell. I'm not coming out of this cell. And he said, if you don't leave this cell, I'm going to arrest you and you're going to be put down into solitary confinement. You're going to be arrested. I said, okay. So he said, okay, you're arrested. And then I'm separated.
Okay.
He then...
So this gentleman, from my understanding, is Tommy Robinson is working on peaceful protest with regards to what's happening over there. I apparently he's still getting categorized as far right, which is unfair. That's the media though. And it's crazy that this stuff is still happening and still spinning out of control. I'd be curious if what's happening in Europe sways the election here. I'd be curious because if the same policies in terms of immigration policies is what led to the riots there.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Will those policies that are being and have been perpetuated by the folks on the left here, specifically Biden on day one, Joe Biden on day one, flipping it and saying, hey, we're going to catch and release in America versus catch and release back into Mexico. Is that going to influence what's happening here? Now, this isn't an endorsement of everything Tommy Robinson said. I don't know his other political views. People are like, he's far right. Listen, I've been called far right. So I don't know what his views are. I don't know what his views are. That's not an endorsement. But it does seem like he is pointing out problems that a lot of my friends who are in the area have pointed out. I have seen the demographics are changing. But to go down deeper, like, why is this stuff happening? And it's not just there's black people that are protesting with the anti-immigration stuff. This is a pretty crazy video. Play this.
Well, this is overwhelming for me because at the end of the day, England has given so much to so many countries, so many people. So when you come out of here and you see the resonance with people, and you see people coming together from all walks of life, is beautiful. And that's what it's all about. Togetherness, family, faith and freedom. We're tired of all of the segregation. We're tired of Rotherham. We're tired of all of these individuals, the religion of taking a piss. We're sick and tired of all of that rubbish. Okay, this is England. I grew up here. My great uncle fought for this country. My grandmother fought for this country. We're not having a bar of it. So at the end of the day, it's all about putting us all together as one common people and getting rid of the vermin, whoever they are, whatever shape they take, get out. This country has suffered too. So at the end of the day, people need to wind their necks in and just behave themselves. We don't want any more division. We don't want to hear any more of this, like people like children. We don't, all of this, shut the borders. Simple.
That's a very reasonable prescription on his part,
It's not nothing.
So, yeah, do you think this is going to impact what we're seeing in America with the election?
I don't know. That's a great point. I don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't think Trump uses this to his advantage and say, look, what's happening in the UK, that could be happening here.
I
The
think
borders
it's all
are going to
get
open.
spun. I think that the same reason it was difficult for us to figure out what was going on, imagine how much less research the American
we
population...
sat here for 40 minutes to get a good grasp of what's happening.
Right? And imagine how much less research the average American population is going to do. And then if Trump aligns with this, then it's going to go straight like Trump aligns with far right riots in UK to show Tommy Robinson, neo-Nazi. Like it's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't think so, because I think the general American population is very ignorant to world affairs in general.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But I mean, it could. I don't think we're really savvy like that.
Yeah, man.
I mean, these are the same people that are like, Kamala, she's awesome now. We like her all of a sudden.
We all got amnesia.
Yeah.
Yay. Oh, man. What a mess.
Yeah.
What a mess. Hey, man. Folks in the UK, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry you're going through this.
Yeah.
This sucks. Hopefully it calms down. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.